Hi everybody, welcome to Serenity Videos. Today we are going to make this pinwheel card and I'm super excited to show you how this comes together. So this particular card this is autumn, winter, summer, right? So it's spring, summer, winter, fall. These are the 4 seasons and it's a pinwheel card. And it folds and it fits right into an envelope quite nicely. And this card was in my most recent Serenity kit for July. I'm sorry the kit is sold out. If you want these instructions, I'll be sharing details as we go along. I also have a PDF. This particular kit, this particular design itself has about 3 or 4 pages in this PDF. I'll be sharing a little bit about how you can get this PDF either for free or for purchase. And so I'm going to show you how to make this, but I'm really speaking to both maybe avid crafters who will get the idea how to put this together and they'll do their own design, or I'm speaking to people who purchased my kit and I'm going to show you some shortcuts for how to put that pinwheel together. So this last month's kit, you're going to take it out of its envelope and you're going to take it out of its nice packaging, and I've got here, I always provide all the ribbons and the gems that you need. You can put those off to the side. There's a number of cards here that you're going to be making, and I have done videos on at least one of them already, and I've got all the instructions in the PDF. But you're going to go through this stack, and you're going to go until you get to this guy right here. Of course, he's not going to have yellow sticky, but he's going to have kind of an open envelope lid. You're going to know it's the pinwheel card because it's open and it's got kind of all the ingredients showing. It does lay flat. It does ship and lay flat, but for getting the ingredients to you, I decided not to force it in and force the crease. So you're going to get the ingredients. Of course, it's not going to have the yellow sticky. You're going to take everything out. I ask that you take everything out carefully. Because I kind of have the seasons layered together nicely. So in your kit, you're going to see a couple things that are going to build the column, and I'm going to show you that. You're going to see a panel, and I'll show you how that goes together, and you're going to find 3 more panels. So take your seasons and put them temporarily off to the side. And the very first thing that you're going to work with is, now I've already done this for you, but for those of you who are learning, I'm going to show you the sizes. So I cut a piece at 5 3/4 by 4 1/4, and then I scored it at 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and 3. So I cut it at 4 1/4 by 5 3/4, and then I brought it over here. I brought it to my scoring board. You could also use your trimmer that's got scoring on it, and you're going to score at 3/4, 1 1/2, you're going to score at 2 1/4, and you're going to score at 3. So again, if you've got the kit, I already did that for you. So that's one thing that you're going to want. And then the other thing that you're going to want is you're going to want 3 panels that are at the size 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and you'll see how that comes together in a minute. So you're going to have 3, and for this you're going to want to use basic white. You're not going to want to use the thick for both of these. You're going to want to use basic white. If you use thick, it just gets too thick for the card to mail. It just gets too thick. You don't need all of that. So again, these instructions are in the PDF. And how can you get the PDF? You can get the PDF, of course, if you're on my team, I notify you, you get all PDFs for free. If you subscribe today, you can get this PDF, and it's got a number of different fun folds in it. So lilamonkey.com/subscribe. If you're a new subscriber, get this PDF for free, or you can purchase it at lilamonkey.com/stamping. So you can get this PDF a number of ways. So now I've got my piece of cardstock, and again in the kit I've already done this for you. So you're going to score, and when I'm doing a fun fold, I like to use my bone folder. There's my address, lilamonkey.com. I like to use my bone folder, and I'm really going to, it's called burnishing when you give a good score. and a good solid fold. It's called burnishing. I like to burnish my fold both ways actually, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a good crisp burnish that way, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do it the other way. And the reason I do this, particularly for fun folds that are going to be getting a lot of interaction and a lot of use, this really breaks down the fibers and it really makes it quite pliable. So now I've got my pieces scored, I've got my fold scored, and let me just show you, you just kind of fold it together like a box. So you take kind of panel 1 and they all go the same way. You make like a box. And so what we're gonna do to form our pinwheel is we're gonna put some glue right here, and then we're gonna snug it up right so that it's a nice square box. I don't want it too far over, I don't want it too far away, I just want it butted right next to the edge. So I'm going to take my glue. You could do tear and tape, but I'm gonna use glue. This glue's getting a little bit loved, so, but it's fine, there's enough there. So I've got my glue. It's a little bit wet, so you wanna make sure that you're not getting it everywhere when you fold it over, but you really want to get a nice, so I'm gonna get it like lined up just right there, and then I'm gonna press so that I form my column. And if my bone folder fits inside, it doesn't really, I think I'll use a pen. I really want to get that glue good, and just want a nice solid adhesion there, right? So now I have got my pinwheel formed, and I'm just gonna come in and kind of, again, when I have a fun fold, I really like to come in and make sure that it just is very pliable no matter which way I'm gonna move it around. And so that feels solidly adhered, and it feels like just a good, nice, like it's gonna mail nicely. So now to make the pinwheel, you're just going to build it like this. You're gonna put one of those panels on this edge, one of those panels on this edge, and then the final panel on the final edge. So let's get to that. I'm gonna actually put the adhesive on the column itself so that I don't worry about exactly where, you know, needing to know exactly on the panel. So I'm going to go ahead and put pinwheel number 1. And I'm going to make sure, kind of putting my fingers on each edge to make sure it's at the top and it's at the bottom. And I'm going to burnish it with my fingers. And that's pinwheel number 1. And then I'm just going to go around and build the rest of it. I should have grabbed a new, well, you guys, this is how I get my glue out. So I'm at the very, very end of my glue. And how do I really, kind of like toothpaste, how do you get the life out of it? I only ever use the tip, and I just make sure that it goes all the way down. So now I am going to put pinwheel number 2. So same thing, I put the adhesive on the column itself, and I'm going to go ahead and give a good burnishing there. There we have it. And now I'm going to come in with the 4th pinwheel, put some adhesive, and then I've got my pinwheel shape. Now from here, those of you that are designers, you can go, well, I'll show you the sizes of the paper so that you can start to decorate it yourself. So I'll do that, and then I'll also show the rest of you guys who bought the kit how we're going to assemble our 4 seasons pretty quickly. So now I've got that 4th right there, and I'm just wanting to make sure that they adhere, so I'm going to let that sit there for a minute. I'm going to come over to my 4 seasons, and I'm also going to refer to, in the PDF, I've actually kind of got really nice big blow up pictures of all the different sizes. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna break out my seasons into different piles. So it looks like this guy is gonna be spring. Looks like this guy is gonna be fall, and I see that some of my little spring flowers are kind of everywhere, so that's fine. I'm gonna just put them into little different stacks. So that's my spring, that's my fall, that's my winter, that's my summer. Got my 3 flowers together, and so that is my 4 different pieces. And why don't we follow the instructions? The instructions say after build the pinwheel, and it gives the instructions for build the pinwheel, then it says build each sweet little scene and start with summer first. And summer is this guy, so we're going to start with that guy first. I'm going to put spring, and I'll kind of put it in order: winter, spring, and fall. And now I'm going to start with summer. So now what I want to do for the summer piece, it's going to look like this guy. And the reason I'm starting with summer first is because I'm choosing to have some ribbon here. And you can see that within the card itself, like here I gave you, so I give you all the ingredients. I gave you the panel for the sentiment. You can go ahead and stamp that. I gave you a partial tree because we're going to be cutting that up and making it a branch. I gave you the birds. All of the birds are in another little envelope, and the rhinestones are in a different little envelope. And then I hand drew those birds on, by the way. But how do we get to these 2 panels here? Let's do that first. So now you've got this large piece. I didn't cut it, right? So what you want to do is you want to take this and you're going to cut this into 2 different pieces. You're going to cut it into this guy. So right now, this is 2 3/4. I'm sorry, this is 4 3/4 by 4 1/4. So the 4 1/4, of course, that's how long the card is. So you're going to make it as long as the card. That's 4 1/4. I basically, this guy's 2 inches on this half. This guy's 2 3/4 on this half. So I'm just going to ask you guys to cut that 2 inches. So let me get my trimmer, which is over here. So for each one, you're going to cut it into 2 and 2 3/4. And I want to keep the left and the right, you know, facing left and right. The left side is the shorter one. It's 2 inches. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to cut it at 2, and then the other half will just automatically be the right side. So that's 2 and 2 3/4. And then I've got my sentiment is going to go down here, and then my tree. So what did I do to the tree? I really cut it. And if you want to study, like, what did I leave or not leave? By the way, I got this design. So the spring, summer, winter, fall I came up with, I modified this particular, there was a woman who, so here I am, I'm cutting the top of the tree so that I just have a branch. So some of you, when in your kit, you're gonna see you only really have like a partial tree, and you might be wondering why. So I'm just cutting the top part off. So there you go, right? So now, but even that looks a little full, so I'm gonna come back in and cut some of those branches off. So what I had done was and I want to copy it exactly. So I'm just gonna come here and copy it exactly. I went, so I'm going to keep that, I'm going to keep that, I'm going to cut this one off. I went to like one of the Stampin' Up! Events, and, all right, I'm cutting those, I'm cutting this one off down here. I went to one of the Stampin' Up! Events, and Lou, online of course, right? So Lou Kitzmiller came up with this amazing design, and she had it on a full card. And I just thought, you know what, I love that for just the inside of this. So you guys, you don't have to be exact. You can be. I kind of liked the way that she shaped it, so I just kind of followed with what she did exactly. But you can see that, give or take now, I feel like pretty much have that shape exactly. So there's our tree, and there's our, so we're starting to build our little scene. And so I'm going to build it here, before I adhere it. And I'm going to get it the way that I like it here, and then I'll go into the pinwheel and actually glue it. So like I told you, the rhinestones, you can find the rhinestones in your little goodie bag. And the ribbon you do want to take out. So this is our evening evergreen ribbon. You do want to take that out and have that available. So you're going to come to your pinwheel card now that you've got it shaped. And you can pick any side, it doesn't matter. It's had some time to dry. I might go in and just burnish it all the way around again just to make sure that it's going to lay nice and flat and that it's good and nice and glued. You guys, I've been doing fun folds for years, and I do this. I just make sure. I might even go the other way and do it. But anyway, so now you can pick any side. It really doesn't matter which side you pick. And then you adhere. I'm not going to do that here. Well, I will, because I want to show you the ribbon. So you're going to adhere the left to the left. You're going to adhere the right to the right. And then for this tree, I think this is only the one that had an element that kind of went over both of them. You want the branch coming from, like, you don't want it hanging in the middle there. That'd be kind of silly, right? So you want to make sure that you have it like coming off the edge there. Rule of thirds, I probably have that about a third of the way up, and then maybe a little higher so I can put the sentiment there. So I can put my sentiment there when I've got it. I can put my little birdie. I gave you guys some extra birdies. I can put my little rhinestones. But let me show you this half, because I'm going to put some ribbon on, and that's a part of the construction of this. So let me show you this half. All right. This is my first pre-recorded video. Oh, this glue has a lot more. This is my first pre-recorded video in a very, very, very long time. So I am excited. I've been wanting to do pre-recorded videos because one thing, I want to come back in and be able to edit it, and then two, I don't know, sometimes it's really cool doing Facebook Live, and sometimes it's hard to like watch the comments and be doing this. And honestly, the other reason I like it is if I have a little boo-boo or if I forgot to bring something over, I can do a little retake of it. So, which, yes, I confess I have. So I've adhered the two pieces, and you can see they just fit right and nice and snug. Again, that side is 2 by 4 1/4, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. I'll put my tree, and then I'll put my ribbon just so you can see how that went. So I'm putting just a little bit of glue, tiny touches. Now, another way to do glue, when you've got those tiny little branches like that, I could have put an adhesive sheet on the back. I didn't do that. And then you can also do, you can use your silicone mat and use a dauber. It's kind of a cool way to do glue. But anyway, now I've got that. And again, you want to make sure your tree is to the far left. I'm going to fold it. I know it feels kind of like, wait, I don't want to fold my tree, but I want to make sure it's going to fold and lay right. So I'm going to come back in and just do a little more gluing there and, you know, make sure it's got enough room to have give so that I can fold. Luckily, glue, you can lift it up and you just want it. Yeah, that's good. Now I'll come back in and add a little more glue to some of those branches, but that'll fold nicely. So the thing I really wanted to show you over here too, so you go ahead and play with getting that glued. The thing that I wanted to show you here also was how I did the ribbon. You guys, for those of you who buy my ribbon shares and who get my kits, I've tried a new way of like giving you guys ribbon. I would love any feedback if this method works for you. I'm really liking it, and I'm wondering if you like the way that I roll up that ribbon. So the reason I said start with summer first is because we're going to put some ribbon here, and it's going to, you can tell Now over here, it's covered up. You can't even tell that there's ribbon. This is the other side of that ribbon piece. So I want to start here so that I can come in and cover up that ribbon. So I'm going to get it long enough so that I'm not fussing with everything. This might be like, I gave you lots of extra. I used that in one other card as well, but I think I gave you plenty to be able to work with. So now I'm going to come in, now that I have a piece that's long enough and I've got my tree adhered, I'm going to come in, and I didn't even do a bow here, I just did a knot. So I'm going to, I wanted the knot to kind of land right where the tree is, because I just thought it was a sweet little touch. Some of this I told you I copied from Lou Kurtzmiller, and some of it I made my own. So she actually had, on this page, she had like 2 little lovebirds, which were super cute, but I didn't want to make this a lovebird page. So you could do that. You got extra birds, so you can do whatever you want. I didn't make it long enough, so you guys just gotta wait while I get it all the way through. No, not gonna be able to do it. Sorry. All right, there you go. There we go. This will go easier. Get my knot. There we go. Got my knot. So I'll cut off my edges, and then I can build the rest of my scene there. And I might put a little mini glue dot under it so it stays. I'm going to come back in here, glue some things. The birds are all in another little package, by the way. So I'll add my little bird. I'll hand draw some of the little birds in the upper corner. And I'll add some of my rhinestones. And I stamped that in Evening Evergreen, thinking of you, and it fits just perfectly. So that's that page. That's that, right? So I'm just going to kind of quickly go through some of the other pages and see if there's any other things I want to highlight. So that was that guy. Now we're going to come to the autumn page. Again, you're going to take the autumn. You're going to take the piece and cut it so that you've got 2 by 4 1/4, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to cut that. You're going to adhere that. You're going to stamp your scene on here. You're going to stamp your sentiment, and you can build all that. I think the only thing I would say about the tree, and I'm not going to show you that here, but so what I did was I inked up the tree with just, I must have been Bumblebee, and then I kind of came in with the dauber and ink, and I put a little bit of Cajun craze, and I put a little bit of pumpkin pie. So that was that shape there. Then how did I get the leaves on the bottom there? Well, if you can see, it's just the kind of reverse of that image. So I did the same thing. I inked up the same leaf stamp, and then I stamped it that way. So you just have some leaves falling on the ground there. And then added some gems, and that's your hello right there. Now let's go to the next. And again, I cut so many of these things for you, but all you need to do is cut that little piece right there. Now if we go to the winter scene, super cute. That one's pretty straightforward. You just basically, now when you do it, make sure that you're paying attention to which way the designer series paper is going. You don't want upside down trees in the background, so you're going to trim that. You're going to go ahead and build all that. Again, I told you the birds and the bees, the birds in another little envelope. I cut this tree out, but you might need to punch some of the little pieces out of it. And then of course cut it so that it's like a little shrub, right? So, and then just go ahead and build your little scene. And then that I Believe in You is Knight of Navy. This is dimensional, this is dimensional. These are a few little gems. And now let's go to the summer scene, because the summer scene is where you're going to be covering up the ribbon. So when you get to the summer scene, you are going to, so you've got 3 little flowers, you've got the sentiment, you've got the grass. Yeah, let me show you a couple things about this. So the summer scene, you're going to cut it again so that you've got 2 on this side and 2 3/4 on this side, and you're just going to adhere it. Like once you adhere it, it's as simple as that, right? So I just glued it. But before I glued it, by the way, actually, let me do it in sequence. The first thing I did before I did any cutting, anything, is I tore the grass. And so I want the grass, I mean, you can play with the height that you want. I always tear where I want the white showing. I tear, if I tear on this side, the white's going to show on this side. If I tear on the other side, the white's going to show on the other side, and I want the white showing. So I'm just going to do like a little bit of a grassy knoll right here. I'm just going to tear it. I'm not doing a lot of hills or anything. Just going to tear it like that, and I feel like that's a good height. This, if you want to know, I gave you extra, but this is about an inch and a quarter, if you want to know that. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the grass first. Then I'm going to trim, and then I'm going to add. So let me get my grass added. Same thing is going to be true when you build the sand and sea bay window. Same thing is going to be true. You're going to adhere your sand to your sea before you cut it. So now I've got it just right. Nice thing about glue is I can move it around so that I can get exactly the shape that I like. And now I'm going to trim it, and I am going to trim from the top side, but you really want to make sure that this doesn't tear off. So make sure you've got a nice, good, solid adhesion. Then you come in, you're going to trim at the 2 inches on the left. And actually, what I like about our trimmer is we can go up or we can go down. So I'm going to do 2 inches, and you guys see that? I'm going to do 2 inches, but then I'm going to come from underneath so that I'm going in the direction of like the highest layer to the lowest layer. So I've got my 2, I've got my 2 3/4. Come over here. I can put that on the left, I can put that on the right, and then it just covers the ribbon really nicely, right? So I've got 3 little flowers, and I tried when I die cut. You guys, I take a lot of care and precision. So I took, I was getting some that were some of the more brown colors, and I didn't want brown flowers, I wanted pink flowers. So I took time to try to get all pink and white flowers, but you can go ahead and just use like mini glue dots or whatever to kind of get your little flowers added over there. You can stamp your sentiment. I stamped this one in, looks like early espresso. So I put that up there. And then on the left side, you guys, I can't provide stamped images. I just can't. So you can put your own tree on the left side there. If you have this set, great. This is the Beauty of the Earth Suite. So you can stamp that out. That was Old Olive, Early Espresso, and you can die cut those. If not, maybe you can find another little tree. Or I've seen you guys fussy cut and mix and match things that are in the kit itself. So go ahead and play with what you might want to do right there, or build your own little scene. I'm sure you've got sweet little, you know what would look cute right here? Like if you got those girls, they're not available for sale anymore, but that girl looks like she would fit just perfect right there. So if you have the kit, it's fantastic. I mean, if you have the suite, it's fantastic and fits perfectly. If you don't, maybe you can substitute with just another little image on your own right there, or put it on the right or whatever. So I think that's all I really wanted to tell you about this card, the making of this card. So let me repeat a couple things for those of you who want a couple things repeated. First of all, you can get the PDF free if you're a new subscriber. Go to lilamikey.com/subscribe. This particular PDF has like 4 or 5 different fun folds in it, so you can get that. You can purchase the PDF at lilamikey.com/stamping, so you can purchase that out there. And you also get the PDF free if you're on my team. If